Welcome to the Dark Brotherhood, everybody. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined by my co-hosts, Lauren and Bruce, and not Kayla this week. They're busy with actually having a life.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they're all the way over in Tokyo right now. So we are going to be reviewing this game without them. They don't really want to play anyway, so it's all right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Who could blame them? Because this is an interesting game for the Sonic series. A truly remarkable feat. This is the first, and to this day only, Sonic the Hedgehog RPG, a turn-based game. This is Sonic Chronicles The Dark Brotherhood. And, you know, turn-based RPGs are like my shame as a gamer. I don't know how to do them. I'm not good at them. I can't make them work.
Yeah, I like them, but well, we'll talk.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know how to judge this game because I have beaten a grand total of like 3 turn-based games in my life, and 2 of them were Pokemon, and I don't even like Pokemon that much.
Right.
Well, don't worry, because you have a couple of people who are turn-based game enthusiasts here.
Yeah.
And we're on opposite sides of the spectrum as well, because judging by what you've said, Bruce, you don't seem to be a huge fan of this game. However,
Not so far.
I'm playing my bias card right now. I'm saying this is a heavily nostalgic game for me. I've played this game so much.
That's fair.
And you know what? I'm tired of trying to be objective. I'm going to be very subjective when we cover this game, because you'll cover any of the flaws. Don't worry about it. I'll say if there's something I don't like, but I'm not holding back this time.
Well, and this is the nice thing for me, is that I get to be lazy. I get to let Lauren do all of the hard work of explaining the mechanics of this, because I don't know, you know? It's like I know how to I know how to press the buttons in Pokemon that make the attacks go, and then I know how type matchups work, so I can beat Pokemon. And I powered through Bobby Schroeder's super lesbian animal RPG because I'm a fucking queer furry, and it's a gay ass furry game. And
well, that game is also quite fun.
Yeah, but this game. Well, I guess if they made it gayer, that might make me more likely to finish it on my own time. But this game is it can be hard sometimes.
Also, you say press buttons. This game doesn't even give you the benefit of pressing buttons.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. True.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But you know, this game is very significant. It's very weird in the series. It's one of the only Sonic games to ever be decanonized rather than being either still canon or not canon from the start.
Yeah.
It was, you know, in 2008, 2009 considered the you know, the last game in the timeline, and I assume would have moved past it if it got the sequel, because spoiler alert, this game ends on a cliffhanger.
That's right, it does. I forgot about that.
Because it didn't, now it's just non-canon, and the reason it didn't is, this is something we'll probably have to talk about a little bit later, but spoiler alert, this is where all of the Ken Pender's legal shit started.
Right.
So unfortunate.
So it's gonna get weird. Also weird, this game is made by BioWare, you know?
And you know what? Playing it, you can actually feel that it's made by BioWare. I'm surprised.
Respected veteran RPG developer BioWare, you know, Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect, Dragon Age,
the original Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I was immediately surprised by the fact that you can easily feel that it feels like a BioWare game.
Interesting. This is my only perspective of a BioWare game, so
it feels
and that being said, BioWare is not suited to making games that are definitely trying to be the Mario RPGs.
Not really. This game would have been way better off with a different developer.
Or buttons.
Or button controls. I'm just...
Okay, you know what? I mean, we can talk about that. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay, let's actually start the game part of the game. Let's talk about the intro here. I actually kind of like the intro of this game. You know, you'll find a lot of discourse on this game's soundtrack on the internet. Every fully produced track in this game is okay. They're compressed to shit, but I don't hate them compositionally.
Okay, I'm so happy because yeah, this intro gets me so pumped. I think it's great, and I think they did a good job with the visuals too. Here, like it
Yeah,
goes perfectly in tune.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Um,
who the hell is credited with this game's OST? Is it Richard Jacques?
not sure. I'd have to check.
Okay,
It
I
is.
think it's that they credit Richard Jacques with it, which is funny because half this game's music is stolen from other Sonic games.
Yeah.
And by
Richard
half, I mean
Jacques,
quite a bit more than half.
Richard Jacques, and Steven Sim are listed on Wikipedia.
Okay, clearly something must have happened though, because you go from that intro to the MIDI-ass title screen theme, and about, I would say, 2/3 of this game's music is like weird MIDIs that some like people love to say that this game's music is like ear bleeding. I honestly don't think that's really that true.
No, it's not ear bleeding, but it definitely gets on your nerves.
Well, and it sounds incorrect a lot of the time, no matter
Well,
what it
so
is. It's
I
not
don't know
supposed
how
to be that way.
well, so I don't know how true this is because I got it from a TikTok comment. So
That's
take it
probably
with the entire salt shaker. The entire salt shaker. Maybe all the salt on the entire planet. But supposedly there was an issue. Two stories actually I saw. One, the soundtrack is bugged. That's part of the reason why it sounds so bad. I don't know if I believe that. That sounds more legit though. The other one is that apparently there was some issue with the music getting lost somehow. So maybe like a Toy Story being the entirety of Toy Story being deleted moment. I don't know. So they had to quickly put stuff together like 3 weeks before the game launched. I don't believe that one very much either because that would have been already after the game went gold.
Well, and see, my opinion on that is it definitely makes sense that something technical is going on here because
I'd be more willing to
have
believe the
ripped
glitch
the
theory.
MIDIs from this game and replaced the instruments to make them sound a little bit more normal. And
I've heard other versions. Yeah, I've heard heard the uncompressed versions of these songs. They don't sound as bad.
and the other thing is that 3 weeks would be enough time because let's remember the Saturn soundtrack for 3D Blast. Richard Jacques made that in like 2 weeks.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, 3 weeks would be enough time. But again, the problem is, it supposedly was 3 weeks before launch. They would need that much time to just make enough copies of the game.
Yeah. So
It would have already gone gold at that point. So I don't really believe that one either.
It might have been some similar but different story. Anyway,
Sure.
so
Yeah, clearly we'll never know for sure. I mean, maybe eventually, but yeah, the way that the sounds are put together and the fact that they're just reused, it suggests something is weird.
Something
Like I can't
definitely
imagine
went
that was an
wrong.
intentional choice.
No, I doubt it. Something definitely went wrong.
but that's our token discussion of the soundtrack. So we'll talk
Right.
about individual pieces if we gotta, but it's like I think it's good to get that out of the way at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beginning a new file on the game itself, we start with a quote from Gerald Robotnik's diary.
It's an interesting way to start.
Yeah, it is an interesting way. When I first played this game, I didn't understand what was going on. I mean, I was barely familiar with Sonic at the time.
Oh yeah.
But now that we've played Sonic Battle, I'm like, oh, I know what this quote is talking
That
about.
does make it more interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's talking about the fourth great civilization. I don't know if it's ripped directly from Battle. And it's it's of course funny because at this point we have more accurate translations of what Battle actually said, and there's no first through fourth civilizations in that game. There's just the four great civilizations, which is a reference to a thing in real life about the early human societies.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Now, that being said, it is canon to Sonic now. They've basically just retroactively moved that into canon because there's a Tales Tube episode that says, like, the Gaia religion was the first great civilization and the Babylonians were the second, stuff like that.
Okay, at least they took that and rolled with it and made it make sense. That's nice.
It's not a big deal to me, but it is technically built off a mistranslation.
Yeah, fair enough.
But, that's how stuff in this series works sometimes. I mean, even in Japan,
Sure.
Eggman is canonically Robotnik, and obviously that's
Right.
from the American. But yes,
canon evolves over time.
Exactly, like it should.
So, the first actual cutscene. This game has some weird sort of motion comic cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty neat, I think.
Yeah, it's not bad.
it's fine for what it is. But it has the last, as in the most recent battle with Eggman, where Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy are all fighting him on the egg carrier. It says, even though it's clearly Final Fortress from Heroes.
Oh, it
Oh,
is.
I didn't even notice that.
No, I didn't. I was just thinking like generic helicarrier.
Also, he blows up a gun plane, so he may have just killed a man.
I mean, you know.
It's very possible. I mean, in this game, well, I'll get to it later. But also of note here, we get the first hint that this game is integrating like extra canon stuff into it because they say, "Oh yes, everyone together stormed Metropolis, Eggman's base." Like he just has a city base, like right out of the comics.
Well,
Yeah,
that's something I could definitely see him doing.
and it's not Robo Trouble, it's Metropolis, so it's Sonic the Comic.
That's true.
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, huh.
I don't think that was on purpose, but that would be
No,
hilarious.
Probably not, but that's kind of a neat notice though.
So yes, they do defeat Eggman, quote unquote, once and for all, and then we have an uncertain time skip because the series doesn't like to commit to actual dates.
It seems to be quite long based on later
It does.
evidence, though.
Yeah, maybe a couple years. Not that anybody looks any different.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So Sonic is running through who knows where, and he gets a phone call on his watch. And then chapter 1, because now you're actually into game.
Yeah, this game has chapters to make it more cinematic.
Makes sense for an RPG, to be honest.
Yeah.
But so it's a call from Tails, and he says, "Hey, Knuckles got kidnapped by anonymous dickheads, and they're getting the Chaos Emeralds too."
Hell
boy,
of a way
time
to
for-
start.
What'd you say, Lynn?
I said, oh boy, time for plot now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game has a lot of conversations and dialogue, and you know what? That's honestly the thing. You know, one of the things that I care most about this game is that the writing is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think we really encountered anything as of where we've played to that is bad.
Okay, good. I'm glad we can agree on that because yeah, I find the interactions very amusing.
Yeah, I think
the
whoever
characters are pretty accurate.
wrote the game, yeah, did a good job keeping it accurate to what we've seen so far.
And there's, lots of little neat details. There's multiple different dialogue options you can choose for Sonic. And the game informs you that if you pick the Sonic-shaped option, that is always the fastest toward getting out of dialogue, which is funny.
Right.
But of course...
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I love that. And I love how they have like a meta conversation about it for a second. Tails takes like the tutorial conversations in this game usually. And so they're like, I guess it's a little later that they actually touch on that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess we shouldn't say that immediately, but
it doesn't matter. It happens a couple. They
Yeah.
tutorialize a couple things through Tails and have that be sort of meta existing in the story. But of course, I don't care about any of that. I care about being able to choose all of the most asshole responses possible.
You mentioned you were doing that. That's an interesting choice. I've chosen a couple of them by accident.
Full Fleetway
it
mode.
really is. Yeah, this is actually kind of Fleetway inspired, isn't it? I never
That's
thought about that.
interesting, yeah. Especially with all the legal problems surrounding this game, that's interesting.
Yeah. I've written down a lot of lines that I just laugh at, like when Tails is talking about how the Marauders took the Chaos Emeralds. That's really bad. Remember when you had all the emeralds, you became supersonic. We're pretty much unstoppable. You can just say, "I remember, good times."
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the dialogue, but I don't think I took a whole lot of notes on the dialogue. It was good, but
I think Bruce could feel the pull of the hallucination. I don't even remember what that's a reference to.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So, we're here in Green Hill Zone to start with. And
Even in an RPG, we can't avoid Green Hill Zone.
And I'll say that one of the other things I really like about this game, and that I wish they had released other instances of, is that I like the background art. It's all, hand drawn, and it's very bespoke, very unique.
So I like the background art, but it really looks like Sonic's running around on one of those, the street map carpets for kids. I don't remember what they're actually called, but it looks like Sonic looks so out of place because the background art looks really flat to me, and Sonic's a 3D model.
That is
I
true.
can see
And
that.
for me, obviously, again, the issue is compression. I'm playing this on an emulator, and so I
Yeah,
can
I'm at least playing it
very,
on a
very clearly
3DS.
see the lines. Not helped by the fact that Melon DS crashes with this game, so I used a different emulator, and
Oh.
that one has layering issues. So anytime you're supposed
Ooh.
to walk behind a 2D thing in this game, he just walks on top of it.
Oh, huh.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean it didn't cause any real problems with
Sure,
navigation.
but
Other things caused
oof.
those. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, let's talk to this old man whose 3D model looks like a fucking monkey. He looks like an ape. I don't know what to tell you. He needs help
Yeah,
chopping wood. This human in Green Hill Zone with normal ass, very clearly like oak tree logs in a place that only has palm trees.
I never thought
Um,
about that.
he cut down all the oak trees.
Gosh. Yeah, I like the random NPCs in this game. You know, we talked about it in '06, but I always like just random NPCs that have nothing to do with anything, and they're just there to guilt trip Sonic, being like, "Oh, I wouldn't burden you with anything, Sonic, but man, I so could use some help right now."
Yeah,
Those are
and
funny.
it's it's funny because this is how the game teaches you about world action commands, whatever you want to call them, and it does so by having you tap the button or press the shoulder button. So Bruce does technically use some buttons. um
That's true. It does.
Yeah,
It does.
I always used that when I played the game originally, but unfortunately, L and R buttons break super easily,
Yes, they
so can't
do.
use them anymore.
Ooh, yeah. I'm glad my original new 3DS XL still has alt buttons working.
well, and
Lucky.
obviously I'm playing on an emulator and I'm using a mouse to move Sonic because you have to use the
Oh
stylus
God,
normally. It
that
doesn't
sounds
feel great.
horrific.
I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold the game against it. I'm not gonna hold it against the game for how a mouse is used for the stylus. Mostly
Well,
because I remember what it was like to actually use the stylus, and that's bad enough on its own, so I don't need to make it
yeah. I'm
worse.
gonna be honest. Yeah, the regular controls aren't great. They feel.
I
I cannot help but compare this game to Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks because it comes with touch controls. And as much as those games are not amazingly controlled, they feel better than this.
yeah, I
Okay, well, so
I don't think it's entirely fair to compare those games to Sonic Chronicles though, so I'll try to hold off from doing it.
I honestly, it's the DS. You got to use the DS features in the
That's
game, or
true.
else why are you developing for the DS? I think in the overworld, just moving characters around with the stylus is perfectly fine. I mean, it's not like you're going to be doing
Once I got
crazy stuff
used, sure. Once I got used to it,
anyway.
yeah, it's fine.
for me, it's a secret ring situation. If you just gave me the option to use other controls, I wouldn't care to complain about it.
Yeah, I do kind of wish I could use the D-pad or on the 3DS's case the circle pad, but I'll live without it. I mean,
And I mean, if you even then, even if you said like, no, this is our bespoke, idea for this console hardware, you could still let me use them in the menus. That would make things
that would be
faster.
nice. That'd be
Um,
nice.
I
but
mean,
no,
I don't
D-pad
think
and
it's
like all of the face
particularly.
buttons do nothing in this game.
Yeah, I might as well be playing this on an iPad.
Well,
Actually,
you
this
get
game might feel better on a purely touchscreen device.
I haven't tried running it on my drawing tablet yet,
I
and
would,
I'm probably
I
not
would.
gonna.
I mean, that's the way I would do it on an emulator, but I know that's still not going to be perfect.
I
Anywho,
tried something like that, didn't really work very well.
Yeah,
Anyway, this is a very subjective
sure.
portion, I think, because you kind of just work with it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, you got to work with it either way.
Yeah. There's a Chow egg here, so I can talk about Chow here because you can get a Chow at this point. There are Chow in this game, which is great, even though they're not like full Chow. Like they're in a game and they're not just like background elements either. So I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like that's
cool.
worth something.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
I
definitely worth
mean,
mentioning.
at the end of the day, they're just glorified equipment. But I mean, hey,
Right.
the art is cute, and I
They're
like
still
them floating
chows.
behind your characters.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's just a fun addition.
they make up a lot of new interesting Chow designs for this game. And they're I think they're kind of like Paper Mario badges is the closest thing.
Oh yeah, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Um, So yeah, neat that they're in this game. I hacked it. I used an action replay code so that I would always just have a bunch of the ones that make you always do special attacks perfectly.
Yes, the good old Feroxes. Um, yes, I definitely made a lot of use of this Chow when I was first playing the game before I just became perfect at all inputs. Uh,
I used to
yeah,
be like you plebeians.
Jesus.
I'm just saying when you play the game dozens of times, it just becomes muscle memory at that point.
I'm not judging, man. I think it's funny.
I actually don't think that the inputs in this game are really that difficult either. Like, yeah, I mean, the first few times it might give you a little bit of trouble, but relatively speaking, well, we're not into the battle section yet. I shouldn't get ahead of myself. But yeah, I just got whatever the game gave me chow wise. And I got a few good drops here and there. But yeah, you could abuse it, which is funny. There's also like a trading system, which is really weird. You wouldn't expect that. Yeah.
There is?
Yeah, you can trade chow with other people. It's like you wouldn't expect it. It's kind of random.
Okay.
It's the only wireless communication this game offers. I never had. Well, let me think about this. I think I might have traded like one chow with you ever, Deb, because I think you had the game, didn't you? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I think we just did it to do it, probably.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not exactly difficult to collect all the chow, so it's kind of a useless feature at the end of the day. But
it's something.
It's interesting. Yeah, it does infuriate me a little bit that you can't level up your chow except by trading. So on emulator, too bad. Just gonna have level 1 chow.
That's fine. One is all I need for Ferox.
True, that it serves no purpose with that chow. Strangely.
Anyway, let's move along here. We are literally still at the very first section of the game, but we've successfully chopped wood, and we've got this kind of crappy raft that we're using to cross. And well, you know, I like the dialogue between Sonic and Tails, where Sonic says, "It's Green Hill Zone. What could possibly go wrong?" Anyway, here's an armadillo attacking you.
Of course.
Which. That's not an animal that lives on tropical islands. Like I know Green Hill is fictional, but
this also isn't exact. Well, is it a tropical island? I guess.
I mean, I guess it's hard to say because this version of Green Hill, you know, South Island doesn't exist in this game. Green Hill is just a place that's part of the same continent as Central City. So
yeah,
they're playing it fast and loose with the lore. Anyway, turn-based combat. I don't have anything in particular to say about it right now. You click attack, and sometimes the enemy attacks.
One of my biggest problems is you miss a lot of attacks. At least I was.
So I will. So basically, my assessment of this game's battle system is it has depth if you want to dig into it, and if you like put challenge restrictions on yourself and don't abuse the many exploits in this game. There are interesting tactical decisions that you can make. That said, it has a lot of odd choices. One of which is that basic attacks are complete garbage. Yeah, you miss a ton of them. It's very poorly balanced. And so just ignore them. It's going to be a bad time because if you do the power moves perfectly, you get all the inputs. You'll just hit every time, and that's the only way to go. Basic attacks is just going to be RNG to heck.
Is it determined by anything? Like, does your speed stat determine whether you hit?
I did a little bit of research. It seems the attack stat does, but I don't know how true that is.
It is true. I have gone through runs in this game where I've tried to make basic attacks work. Certain characters, Amy and Knuckles in particular, have decent basic attack damage, but it's really low for most people. If you invest all in attack, you can get a decent number of hits. But some enemies just have ridiculous defense stats, and certain enemies also have evasion moves and phasing moves, which just make you always miss. So, yeah.
Well, for Podunk Armadillo here, that's not that big a deal, at least.
Not
I could. It's just the introductory. It's the introductory battle, so there's no depth here. It's just, oh, hey, this is what it looks like, basically. There are no strategic decisions. I do like the battle music in this game a lot. I think it's really great. Of course, I am very nostalgic for it, but I also will say I think it's cool that there are 4 different battle themes that it randomizes between instead of just having one throughout the game for basic fights.
I think the battle themes are all, actually produced songs and not minis. So most of them
Yeah.
are okay. Some of them are made with really weird instruments. And one of them in particular, like, no, actually two of them. Two of them are remixed from other Sonic games in ways that are so hard to tell. One of them is Panic Puppet from Sonic 3D Blast on the Saturn, and another one, of all things, is the past version of Title Tempest, but like scary.
Okay.
Okay, so I wasn't touching on the boss themes. I was just talking about the basic battle themes because I haven't had a boss
Are
battle
those
yet.
boss
But
themes?
yes, at least the Panic Puppet one is, which is godly. I love that. It's a remix that isn't necessarily. It at least feels like it has purpose. Like they did something, yeah, like you said, really different with the theme, and I think it actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, just question marks all abound with this soundtrack. Um,
Kind of, yeah.
so, we beat up local wildlife, something Sonic is very known for, and now some guy puts rocks in our way, but Amy shows up to get them out.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Amy is here now. So something interesting about this game. Well, first of all, I must say Amy is not terrible in this game. Like,
No,
wow.
I like her in this game so far.
I think the
Um,
trope that they've gone for here with her is really funny, where she says she has a boyfriend named Dexter, um, and the game makes it extremely immediately obvious that she made that guy up to make Sonic jealous. But I'll be
Sure.
honest, I so desperately wanted him to be real.
that would be
Yeah,
interesting
that would be
if it were
interesting.
true.
Just
But
make
it
us
would be
all think
such-
that, oh yeah, she's lying, and then suddenly we meet him.
Yeah, but in terms of her portrayal, like, she's not terrible. She's not like
No.
mean or weird or overbearing. She's doing this one weird thing, and then they just kind of ignore that for the rest of the game.
kind of. So we mentioned the dialogue choices. It's mostly aesthetic. It's mostly to get interesting reactions out of the characters, or optional information and stuff. But it doesn't have any real bearing on the gameplay. This doesn't either. But you can go a long ways here. There's a Son Amy route that you can follow if you take the right dialogue choices. And it's not like I like it, but I have to follow it because they put in the effort. I'm gonna do it. I've done it before. I'm doing it for this run as well. And it's just interesting they did that. It kind of makes sense, I suppose, in a game with dialogue choices.
I didn't
But
even
yeah,
know.
you can make the Dexter dynamic a little more important if you choose the right
Interesting.
dialogue options.
And here I am
Huh.
playing dickhead abusive boyfriend Sonic.
Basically, for this moment, you just don't immediately call her out. You kind of just play along. Is basically how it goes
Oh,
here.
I think that's what I've been doing.
Incredible. Whereas I go with, I don't want to make her feel better.
God.
I mean, yeah, that's a valid choice. I've definitely taken it before.
I don't know. I feel kind of bad about it because, like, if you did have Amy be like, equivalent to like her Sonic X self in this game, then I would feel a little less mean picking all the dialogue of it. But Amy's fine in this game. Making Sonic a dickhead is just weird, even though I'm doing it
Yeah, I
anyway,
get that.
obviously.
Honestly, she doesn't deserve any hate. I mean, she even gives respect to Knuckles here, because she's like, wow, without Knuckles to protect the Master Emerald, we could all be in danger. Like, instead of being like, wow, what an idiot for losing control
True,
of
yeah.
the situation. Like, that I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want?
Oh, and this is the part where you're forced to be slightly mean to Amy, not overly mean, because there's no other choice. And then Tails is like, oh, Amy is like, why are you being mean to me? And Tails is like, hey, Sonic, maybe you should be a little nicer with your dialogue choices here. And then you can just be even meaner if you choose to. But you could also be nicer. I really like here where he's like, so try saying something different. You could just be like, what's your favorite color, Tails? And just like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, sure, that works.
It's funny. Am I good to move on?
Sure.
Anywho, there's some broken down Eggman robots around. Not that they really look like bad next to their egg pawns or anything. And this is where the game teaches you about the special moves, which are choreographed rhythm games that you have to do with the stylus for every single special move that you or the enemies use.
Yep. Yeah, so I've seen behind the scenes sort of commentary on this game before, and the devs
Oh.
were basically like, "Oh, we wanted the battles to have sort of a you actually have to be paying attention in on the action sort of feel to it, like when you're playing a regular Sonic game. So we tried to make a blend of interaction and then also turn-based stuff. So that's sort of what they were going for. Honestly, I don't think they succeeded very well, and I'm saying that as someone who likes this game. I am not really a big fan of the quick time events in this game. Like they're no problem for me, but I don't find them interesting. And actually, I find them
They're
the
kind of
implementation.
intrusive.
Yeah, a bit. The problem is you do the same ones over and over and over.
Yeah,
and
I think
over.
if it was different ones each time, or I guess not just always different, but there was like 5 or 6 different ones that changed up each time you did a POW move. That might be better.
It's not about that for me. For me, it's well, for one thing, when you have 4 characters and more than a couple enemies on screen that have their own special moves, and you have to keep doing these, it makes battles drag on for fucking ever in this game sometimes.
Yeah.
But also, I don't like the setup. I'm not a fan of. For one thing, I'm not a rhythm game guy. And I don't feel shameful of that the way I do with RPGs, just because turn-based RPGs, I would love so badly to like all of the like Final Fantasy games and Chrono Trigger and Earthbound and all that shit, if not for the fact that I'm not good at turn-based battles. Because all of the stories, gameplay, music, graphics, etc., those games outside of the turn-based stuff I love. So when it comes to stuff like this, it's like, oh, we're adding a little bit more action to that kind of gameplay, but it doesn't mesh well for me. And the other thing is that with Mario RPGs, it's a timed button press. You get good at using that button. With this, you don't know what you're gonna have. You don't know where exactly the little targets that you got to hit with specific timing. That I'm never very good at figuring out exactly. I feel like I'm always doing it too early. Because you say quick time events, but it's not quite a quick time event, because a quick time event you always want to push the button as fast as possible.
Oh, I guess I don't know the right terminology.
No, I'm not. It's not a QTE. I don't know what to call it. It messes with my head, is what it is. So I do not feel bad at all about using Feroxes for all this. Although you'll see in my footage that almost every time I get a new party member, I've got like 10 Feroxes that I hacked in, and I forget to add one to a new party member every single time I get them.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah. You mentioned the Mario RPGs, and we talked about not making comparisons with other games, but I think that's a pretty apt one. Because another thing that I don't like about the whatever you want to call these, the interactions within the real-time interactions in battle, is that they just feel artificial. Okay, to their credit, some of them are positioned in a way like I really like. We're not there yet, but when Knuckles joins the party, he has an uppercut move where you draw a little line upwards. Okay, perfect. That's in time with the action. A lot of them feel super arbitrary though. They have nothing to do with what's going on screen. Whereas the Mario RPGs, they're right in with the action. It's very intuitive.
Yeah, a lot of these you could copy and paste from one to the next, and you wouldn't even know.
Another thing is that the way they have an effect in game is strange, because I guess it makes some degree of sense in that if you screw up your own inputs on your own moves, like you suddenly do 0 damage if you miss like one input. It is extremely punishing. On the flip side, if you get like 1 or 2 inputs on enemy attack, then they'll do like nothing. At all. You don't have to be very good with the enemy moves, and you have to be extremely good with your own moves. I guess because you're using them all the time. I think that's the logic to it. But it has the bizarre effect of, well, first of all, like you plan out your moves, and then if you happen to mess it up, then it's like all to waste. And then enemy moves, as long as you've seen them once, or you just have starting to get knack of things, suddenly enemy special moves are way more terrifying or way less terrifying than basic attacks. The basic attack is something a big problem because you can't stop them. That's not how you design battles in an RPG.
That is definitely odd.
I didn't even think of that, but you're right.
I highly recommend, if you really like this game, there are people out there like that, that you try a run of the game where you do not interfere with enemy special moves. It completely changes the dynamic because a lot of them have like unique effects, but you usually don't see them because, like I said, it's extremely easy to block them. So yeah, that is like.
Oh, sorry.
That is like the core system of battle, and you kind of have to talk about it. It's what they obviously put their effort into, and I don't think it's very great, but I do like other aspects of the battle system. I think it's really cool how different characters have different numbers of actions, and it becomes more apparent when you actually have more party members. But you basically pick a bunch of actions in a row, and you have to plan it out. And then the turn executes all at once, so it requires a lot of advanced planning. I think that's really cool. You have to make a lot of interesting choices in combat. Also, there are a lot of things that I'm not sure if they're bugs or they're on purpose, but they benefit it, actually. Enemies don't ever change targets in this game, which is nice because it allows you to predict more about what... Yeah, it allows you to predict more about what's going to happen in the fight, which really is good in a strategic game to be able to make predictions about how things are going to play out. This game makes a lot of good choices with the battle system in little ways, like the EXP is all distributed across all your party members evenly, regardless of whether they're up, down, whether they're in your party, whether they've even joined you yet. Characters who have not joined you will automatically level up with the rest of the party when you receive them. That's really great. This game does not have a grinding problem, I don't think. I've never had a grinding problem. Maybe you had to grind at one point or another.
You get like 10 EXP from some fights, so...
Okay, well, that's another thing. They did well with the EXP in one way, and they screwed it up in another. This game has like scaling EXP, where if you're leveled highly, then it will give you less experience, and the minimum is 10. So if the game thinks, oh, you were overleveled for that fight, you'll just get 10 EXP. The bizarre thing is, I don't agree with when the game thinks that you're overleveled in a lot of fights. It seems way more aggressive than it needs to be.
Feels railroady almost. It's like you're gonna figure out the strategy for this fight, or you're not gonna be beating it. Which we'll see
I don't
at the
mind. I don't really mind that because I think I guess having the option to grind isn't inherently bad.
No.
But if you encourage players to do it, they kind of take the fun out of the game for themselves, then this game forces you not to do it, but at the expense that you can't do it if you actually are having a lot of trouble and could use some extra sets. This particular fight with the drone robot here introduces the fleeing mechanic in this game. I'll let you two say if you have anything you want to say about that.
I don't like when you hit a speed booster and there's literally nothing you can do to see one of the blocks you'll run into coming.
Yeah, initially it was fine, but I feel like it got more annoying.
Well, especially with four characters, just hectic.
Yeah, I was about to say, the more characters that came into my party, the more annoying it got.
But
that's fair.
It's fine though, I guess.
Yeah, there's nothing all that complex about it.
Well, I have a few things to say, more than a few things to say about this game in general. But regarding the fleeing, yeah, I can see what you're saying. Part of it is it's got like a certain... It seems like the way that the boxes of stuff are generated, they're like in batches. So now that I've played the game a billion times, I can kind of recognize the piece that is in front of me, and so I can kind of anticipate what the placement is going to look like immediately ahead. So it's true that if you hit a booster, you can get right into a box. You kind of have to anticipate, and it's not easy when you don't have a knack for it. But I do think that the way that it gets more difficult with more characters is interesting because it ramps it up a little bit as you get characters initially. And then it also has the nice benefit of if a character is downed and you attempt to flee, your down characters just lie on the ground and don't come with you, which I don't know how that makes logical sense. But it means that if you're losing a fight, it makes it easier to flee, which that's just a good decision. I like that.
I didn't know that.
Sure, yeah. That is interesting.
All right. So after wandering around Green Hill some more, we come face to face with one of the marauders, so to speak, the ones that kidnapped Knuckles. And he says that he was sent to stop us by Shade, whoever that is.
Oh, so mysterious.
He's a boss fight, man, and I beat it really fast because I was using a cheat that made me slightly overleveled. But I do remember how these guys fight, which is to say they have fucking HP leech attacks.
Yeah. So funny story. When I first got this game, I got it as a gift, and I got it at the same time as my brother, who got gifted Kirby Superstar Ultra. And so we each had our own games that are like, okay, cool. So we were each trying out our new games. And when I first played this game, I was so bad at it because, I was young. So, you just don't know video games very well at that age. But also, of course, I hadn't learned everything about this game, basically, at that point. So, yeah, this boss was such a roadblock for me. I was like, what? This game is nothing. It's just running around Green Hill Zone and then you die. That was the game for me for like a week, literally. So I felt ripped off. I was like, man, come on, bro. Let me play some Kirby Superstar Ultra.
And you got to experience real peak.
Yeah, at the time, I thought that game was way more fun. I now have more fun with this game, but I do admit that, yeah, that game is probably objectively better.
That game's still great. So.
That game is still.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, it's a great game. But yeah, this boss for beginners can be really bad. Yeah, it has the HP leech, as you mentioned. It also has stasis grenade power move that stuns your characters.
I think I encountered that.
Yeah, you have to really screw up the inputs. Like I said, I was a young child. I wasn't very good at it. Also, this enemy is the first one, I think, that has really high defense. So if you don't have power moves, you just get destroyed. You will not hit it. It will just heal back any little amount of damage you do. And it drains your power points too with its attacks. So it makes it even harder to use power moves against it. It is a huge difficulty spike.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, if you know what you're doing, it's not that bad.
Sure.
Or if you're cheating.
True.
Although make no mistake, I have run into challenges in this game, even if I am using all Feroxes and boosted EXP. This game is very, very weird in terms of...
I can agree with that.
But that gets us out of Green Hill Zone, and we get to watch this animation of Sonic running towards Central City, and ooh, that gives us a close look at his model. What is going on with the character models in this game?
It is a little weird.
Their proportions are so strange.
Yeah, that reminds me of something else I'll mention in a minute. But yeah, like the 2D assets, you mentioned the backgrounds. I think the character art is also pretty nice in this game. But yeah, the 3D models they're kind of funky. You don't see them up close a lot of the time, so it's not really a big deal.
Sure, it's not a problem, but when you do,
yeah, they got a little bit of Ken Pender's eyes. I know he's a name that's hanging around this game, but the very large, detailed pupils that sort of crowd out the face is very something. And yet the 2D art, sometimes it looks alright, sometimes it looks really weird depending on the scene. Because a lot of the dialogue scenes, it's very clearly that just like they copied Sonic X a lot of the time. But occasionally there's a drawing, like specifically the like angry, annoyed face for Sonic. His whole head changes shape, and he looks almost like a 2D rendition of like his 06 design, where like his head becomes very like his face is not that big, but his quills are very long, and he has a very large torso. So yeah, 2D art is odd in this game.
But yeah, I think the 3D models are sort of emblematic of. I have to admit that there are some parts of this game that feel kind of. I mean, you could maybe say heavily rushed. They just kind of come off as amateurish to me. There are a lot of stock sound effects in this game. We haven't mentioned that yet, but that's another thing.
The music is one thing. The sound design is extremely strange, because a bunch of your attacks and sometimes even characters' quote unquote voices are like Genesis sound effects.
Oh, I eventually had to turn off the
It's very
volume
weird.
on the
I've
game.
played a little bit further in this game than we're covering in this episode, but when you see Shadow and he takes damage in the game and it makes a freaking teleporter sound effect from Sonic 3 when he gets hit, it's like, what is going on?
Huh.
Yeah, it's strange. It feels like, okay, I mean, maybe they were placeholders and they didn't have time to replace them or something. It's possible. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Well, I seem to remember hearing that some of the voice effects for like Sonic and Knuckles and Amy when they take damage were like sent in by fans or something like that.
Wild.
Huh.
And you know, I guess we're getting big later in this, so I'll leave him till later. But anyway,
but yeah.
we make it to Central City, and oh god, Diamond Dust Zone.
This made me turn off my speakers.
That music is too pointy. It's a little bit of a Sonic Eraser thing going on.
Pointy is a good way to describe it.
Also, hi, Rouge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Rouge.
Yeah, I said it to you guys, but I have to say it here for listeners as well. I think the fact that they put Central City's music as a second overworld theme really did bad for this soundtrack's reputation, because I think this is like the worst overworld theme. And it's the only one that I'm like, yeah, I can hear why that's bad. Why people that sounds bad to people. Like, I'm totally used to it by now, but like I can tell, it's sharp, as you said, is a good way to put it.
Sharp is a very good way of putting it.
So, Tails' workshop is here. So we go in there. We're gonna get Tails as a party member. He says we need to talk to Gun before trying to find where Knuckles is being held captive.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get Tails as a party member. But we head outside and are immediately attacked by SWAT bots.
That was surprising. Yeah, that was surprising.
This isn't Archie. This game was canon for a while, and then it wasn't. What's next? Badnik Troopers?
That would be great, but no. All right, so this I have to mention here about this fight in particular. This is a good demonstration of the game being really funny, because this game has mostly random bugs that you don't see consistently. You'll probably see a few as you play through the game, but there are a few like interesting, easily replicable ones in this fight in particular. For some reason, in New Game Plus only, you can just avoid it by holding away from it, and then Sonic will just stop short, and then the screen will like stay in put, so it's like clear that you're still in cutscene mode and you can't like freely walk around. But you can just go in a building and come out, and then the SWAT bot will just be like standing there, and you can fight at any time. But you can also just bypass it. So hey, New Game Plus speedrun strat right there. Yeah. Also, the game doesn't correctly distribute experience to Tails here. So if you're high enough level for him to have leveled up, he won't level up. So you can have like, level 10 party members here, and then Tails is just level 1 just for this one battle. It's funny.
You know so many esoteric little things. I'm just gonna be like, the SWAT bots are bulky. But you know like deep lore.
I'm glad. It's nice to see or hear.
Yeah. SWAT bots are bulky in fairness. They look more like shadow bots. Really.
Yeah. They do, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, they don't really look much like classic SWAT bots. I don't hate the design, and it seems similar enough, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I think it's interesting that they didn't just go one for one, honestly. But yeah, in terms of battle, oh boy. Okay, so SWAT bots have this great little thing called self-repair. So you might notice it in this fight.
Oh god!
If you knock it out before you knock out the drones, you might not, and you might just not see it here. But it's the first time you can see it. Yeah, if you don't down other enemies and another round starts, the SWAT bots will just. A SWAT bot will just get back up. So you have to down it last here in this fight.
God.
It's interesting. It's very. I can't believe they introduced a mechanic like this so early in the game. I will say that.
That is wild.
I think it's really cool. Like, it makes you think hard. You have to plan correctly. But wow, for like, this is so early for that.
It really is.
Lauren, you and I need to do Dark Souls 2 co-op. I need to torture you with the Throne Watchers fight.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know it's a thing that they do in games. It's not just here, but this is my first exposure to that sort of thing.
Well, it's a bad idea no matter what the game.
Yeah, and I'm
fair.
making a joke because that fight's not even that difficult. But anyway, yeah. So
Oh wait,
those
shoot!
bots.
I've been slacking. I need to talk about each character in battle when you get them. Gosh darn it!
We're an hour into the recording.
I'll be quick.
All right.
Okay. Sonic is an all-rounder. He basically has balanced damage. I mean, he's got good speed and he's got a number of actions. But he's kind of just solid, useful. He's always in your party, so it makes sense.
Sure.
Amy is more offensive. She has tarot card abilities. Hey, that's an interesting thing to mention, Devin.
Yep.
They brought in the tarot cards in this game. Really strange.
This is one of the
I don't know why they
to
did
acknowledge them before the modern era. The modern era, not even the fucking 2010s, but the 2020s.
Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, she's got good damage as you might expect. Huge hammer. Tails is really useful. He's a gadget genius. Channeling some Tails adventure there almost. He's got like little adventures. He's got like med bots and shield bots that you can deploy, which is pretty cool. He also has an extremely cracked adrenaline rush move, which gives you an extra action. Right? Okay. Good so far. Problem is that he could use it on himself, and then you can just use Adrenaline Rush to get more Adrenaline Rushes the next time, until suddenly you have more actions with Tails and the rest of the party combined, and it's hilarious.
I did not know about that. I will.
That's wild.
If I get the experience for it, I'll try to add that. I've played a little bit further, as I said, than we've done tonight, but I'll keep that in mind.
You do need the PowerPoint for it, of course, but if you invest in that on purpose and get gear and stuff, it can be hilarious.
Yeah, and yeah, just having a character that can do status effects to things is good.
It's a good role for Tails too.
All right, so
we can move on.
We find Rouge, and Amy gets like jealous of her flirty talk, even though we know that that's disingenuous most of the time. And also, Amy, what about your boyfriend Dexter? But she leads us to a gun outpost, and this is not Commander Tower. I really thought that it was.
It sure looks like him.
Well, so he's rendered so cartoonishly that we couldn't see his heterochromia if he had it. But here's the thing. There's another gun guy later in this game who looks identical to this, and it's not him, so I think neither of them are him.
Fascinating.
Huh. That's weird, because I checked the Sonic Wiki, because I was like, is this the commander? And the Sonic Wiki seems to think it is. Of course, that's all just made by fans, so I guess we don't know.
I don't think it's him, because there's another guy and it's not him, so that suggests to me that they're using a generic design.
That makes sense. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean it isn't him, though. They could have just not given him a unique portrait.
That's also true.
I suppose. And this is before he even had a name, so it's like, who even knows?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's Walters. Anyway, he says we're going to be checking out old Eggman bases to investigate the Marauders and where they might be holding Knuckles. And hi, Vector, for 5 seconds.
Yeah, Vector just shows up.
That is so funny. I don't even know why they gave Vector a portrait, because he has 2 lines in the game, and they're both right here, and that's it.
Oh, this is literally the only time he shows up?
Yup.
That's...
oh my god, that's wild. Having the Chaotix do some contract work for them, and we don't get to see what any of that is.
So why bother bringing it up?
It's for the lore, it's the world building. This game is so dedicated to giving Sonic a consistent, sensible world. That's why it steals shit from the Archie comics, which are like the games in every way.
But it's cool, man. I like it.
I can appreciate wanting to be like, oh, this needs lore, and giving it lore. But still,
I'm being facetious, but yeah, it's a very strange moment.
Yeah.
The party so far, and definitely here, acts very distrustful of Rouge for some reason. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Rouge is that unreliable unless there are gems involved. Isn't that basically true?
I don't think she is.
Basically, I think that they were cribbing more from Archie than just in world building elements. This is very much how the late Penders era, early Flynn era treats Rouge, so it's something like that, possibly.
Interesting.
I did not know that. Huh. Interesting, yeah.
It'll be weird when we get to the that era of comics, and it's like, why is they're treating Rouge kind of strangely? But so yes, we are indeed wandering around the city, looking for places that Eggman used at previous points. It basically, you find like, what is it, like 4 different places, and each of them has a SWAT bot fight.
Yes.
Yeah, there are four bases. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you definitely get to see self-repair at that point.
Oh yeah. I hadn't played this game for years, and I forgot how these fights are, again, a jump in difficulty, because you get one swap bot, and if you just go straight to a base, you go right for 1 to 2, and it's pretty bad if you didn't do any advanced prep. I must say, like I said, having that as an early game mechanic, gosh,
that is wild to have so early on.
Basically, at this point of the game, the way you should do it is you should go and seek out some of the side quests. I, of course, did all side quests. This game has a number of them, of varying quality, I will say. A lot of them are kind of just random, like chop wood for an NPC, for instance. Right. But some of them are pretty interesting. These ones are kind of in the middle. Okay, I don't know. You talked about the world here. There are some weird things here. Okay, first of all, real quick, Rouge joined the party. Rouge is actually a terrible party member. I hate her. She is useless, low damage, weird gimmicky status moves. Not good.
Okay, I'm glad that I immediately noticed she kind of felt like crap.
Yeah, I take her out of the party as soon as I can.
I used the armor-piercing Jewel Storm a couple times on some robots that I was having trouble with, but basically, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the only half decent move she has. Also, I'll note that they're fake jewels. She wouldn't actually throw real jewels.
That's true.
But anyway, one of the side quests is there are some like robot thieves in the city. Which what? Like they're just robots that live in the city. That's what that implies. Like why else would they be like doing crime and stuff on their own? Because you like find them and they just have like a hideout sort of a place, and it's just like, okay, great, busted.
I had no idea.
I've never
even heard of that
thief operation. Okay. Another thing. Oh, this is really funny. This is, once again, I like silly NPCs. So there's this one guy who's like, "Hey, Sonic, I need some help. People can't go on the roofs because there are wasps all over the place." And Sonic is just like, "Why would you go on the roof?" He's like, "Because it's a roof. Why wouldn't you go on rooftops?" Like, yes, you do live in a video game world. That's awesome.
I mean, you do have to go on the roofs to get to some stuff here anyway.
True.
Well, I know, because it's designed like a video game world. Like that's not how a real city would be.
Does that mean that on your way to work you have to do the crane and pipe puzzle to get around to?
Okay, now we can talk about those puzzles. This is the first of multiple throughout the game. Yeah.
I mean, you have 4 characters, you make them press buttons or something, and I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about the puzzles in this game. Are very simple.
Yeah, there's nothing really special about them.
Okay, well, there's one that you will encounter next time, which, well, I actually don't know how bad it is the first time when you're a person with a fully formed brain. But as a kid, I hated it so much. It was the worst thing ever. Most of them, though, are completely inconsequential, as you said. I don't really have strong comments on them. It's like, okay, they mix it up a little bit, I guess. Something slightly different to do.
Sure.
Great. But yeah, they're not much.
So it's kind of all gameplay for this, which is good because it means I can kind of gloss over it a little bit. Because getting the stuff from the egg bases is very one note.
Very, yeah.
But it means oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, apparently the suspicion of Rouge is warranted here, because when you go in one of the bases, Rouge is like, why are we even going in here? Like, we're wasting time. And then someone's like, well, there could be jewels here. And she's like, oh yeah, let's do it. That's way better than finding Knuckles. Like, okay, just come right out with it. You can go ahead though.
But the stuff we get from the egg bases gives us a signal, essentially, and we track that to Mystic Ruins, which, well, we'll get to it, but we have to use the plane to get there, and they repeatedly emphasize that the tornado is in bad shape in this game because Tails used parts from it to make a trap for the Marauders before Knuckles got beaten. Um, and that's ironic because this is one of the only games where the tornado never crashes, to my knowledge.
Yeah, that's funny. That is it's kind of ironic that.
But yeah, we use the plane to get to Mystic Ruin, and that doesn't look anything like Sonic Adventure.
No, it's like a swamp now.
It's covered in poison gas for some reason. Did they say why that is the case?
Yeah, the Marauders dispersed poison gas across the area to help them when they were stealing the emerald.
I guess that's fair enough, yeah.
It also uses the final boss music from the Genesis version of 3D Blast, again with the 3D Blast.
It's a lot of 3D Blast music. That's
and this one's
really
interesting because this pushes back against the theory that the soundtrack was compromised, because this sounds very intentionally composed to the DS's limits to sound sort of what's the term? Rugged, sort of almost like an infiltration into someplace dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, it seems just like they were able to finish this one, and they didn't finish all of them. That's kind of just what it seems like to me. Yeah, people often point to this one as one of the better overworld themes. That's true. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, here's Big the cat.
Apparently, he can just survive poisonous gas.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He is a big guy. That's true.
But yes, I love it.
Maybe it's
big
tolerance.
Zero.
You know, it's like how Andre the Giant could. What did he drink? Like 41 beers before he passed out, or something like that.
I I've never heard that before. I just know that like there's one interview where he's talking about the kind of things he would eat, and he'd like, yeah, I'll eat like 5 chickens in one sitting and 4 bottles of wine.
Andre the Giant does still hold the drinking world record, I'm pretty sure. I don't think anybody's going to be beating that.
That would not surprise me.
Anywho, so yeah, it's Mystic Ruins. It's you have some bugs that you fight, I think.
Oh yeah, this game does a really cool thing. I love it when games do this. So the Queen Wasp enemies, they're actually an optional boss battle on the rooftops in Central City, but now they show up again as regular enemies. I eat that right up. It shows how you've progressed in the game when boss enemies are reused as regular enemies later. And it also works well in an RPG because the stats scale, so of course you can naturally just
it shows how far you do it. I would say.
Sure. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
So.
Not to bring up Dark Souls again, but when you get to the Demon Ruins and there's just 100 copies of Capra Torrent's Demons, it's like, okay.
Big has joined the party, so I'll say that they are an absolute beast in battle. They're absolutely unkillable, and they do a ton of damage, and have useful status moves, and they have a taunt move that redirects damage. So they're just busted as heck.
He's kind of a tank almost.
Yeah, basically.
Which is funny because he's classed as a support character.
Yeah, I saw that. I was a little confused by that.
He supports the party by doing all the work.
You know what? That's true.
Yeah,
like you could probably solo a lot of fights with just Big. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, he seemed really good.
Now here's something. Mystic Ruin, there's this puzzle here, right? Where you have to get these vents working. And you think,
yeah.
Is that going to blow away all the gas? No, it just lets Rouge Tails fly up to where the Marauder prison is. In order to get the vents working, you have to take this key chip thing from one housing and put it in another, and I think the chip is like Eggman shaped, isn't that correct?
Is it?
I'm not sure. It's really hard to tell on a small DS screen.
Yeah,
I think it's Eggman shaped. I'll look at my footage since obviously I played in a higher resolution, but
sure.
Why would he put vents here, fans?
Yeah, that's odd. Huh.
I mean, at one point he maybe built a base here or something. I don't know. There is like
that's Sonic Adventure Fine Leg, but there's no mention of that in this.
Well, yeah.
No, yeah, that's true.
Mostly because there's absolutely no through line between SA1 and Mystic Ruins of this.
Right.
Yeah, it's redone. There are like echidna statues here and there, so they did some surface level stuff. Yeah, by and large. Yeah, for some reason, there's just a lot of giant bugs here now. If you explore the area and don't go straight to the goal, you can find like giant millipedes, which have HP regeneration for some reason. Makes them seem a lot more intimidating than they actually are. But there are also these like giant worm enemies that will just ambush you out of nowhere, and they're absolutely terrifying, but they're actually not that bad. Like, they just look scary. They have like these shining talons.
Right?
Let me think about this.
I think I
no, did. I don't think so. They're not in. They're not in the way of any mandatory areas. No, I don't think you ever have to fight them. You can go around them.
Okay.
You're likely to bump into them if you walk
I think.
around.
Oh, yeah, that's probably what. I think I just bumped into them because reasons.
But I love ambush secret surprise bosses like that. It's great. They also have an instant death move, which is surprising. Again, this early in the game, I don't know what they were thinking with some of these design choices. Like I said, it's neat to have that level of challenge, but kind of crazy for beginners.
That is crazy. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the prison area. There is some marauders to fight here, and are they just copies of the first one you fought as a boss, basically?
I think they're a bit tougher, but they have the same moves. Their stats are just slightly increased.
Okay. So yeah, that's that indoor area. I want to note that any area that doesn't have a map in this game has this extremely dramatic and slightly scary picture of Sonic on the top screen with like a manic expression.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know why, but it's
And it's funny because we're here rescuing Knuckles, right? But you get into his holding area, and he's being guarded by SWAT bots, but he just easily escapes all on his own.
yeah. I actually love this moment as a Knuckles fan. This is great Knuckles. Honestly, Knuckles wins in this game so much. But yeah, you come to rescue Knuckles, and he's just beating up a bunch of SWAT bots. He literally is like, "Oh, you came to rescue me." I mean, I didn't really need it, but okay, thanks.
Well, what were you doing up to this
great.
point? You were gone for like a lot of days.
I'm not. I don't know. But it's just the perfect timing sort of a thing. I don't know. It's just. I think it's meant to be a humorous moment. You don't think about it too hard.
Well, but it's also funny because he
Basically.
invokes this by saying it's weird that they were just keeping me here instead of just killing me.
Okay, that is true. There is a bit of little intrigue there. Yeah. Without spoiling it, yeah, there's some reason for that. That's true.
Also, Shade is their leader. We kind of got a hint of that before. He says it here. So
Right.
There's a bit of dialogue here where Knuckles and Sonic kind of go at each other during this. When Knuckles is like, "All right, well, I'm gonna go and stop them," and then Sonic's like, "All right, no, we're going with you," and he's like, "Psh, now Sonic, you don't run the show here," and then you can be like, how the rest of you feel?" And then like everyone gives them the like, "Well, you've been gone a long time, Sonic," which is kind of surprising. Like, how long has he been gone if everyone's treating him like he abandoned them?
Yeah.
everyone looks the exact same. It can't have been that long. Nobody had this problem between the end of the classic era and Sonic Adventure, which that was long enough for everyone's designs to change. Well, whatever, Knuckles. You're a party member now. You're gonna do what the player says.
That's damn right.
Yeah, but he's still gonna protest in the
Of
dialogue
course.
though.
Okay, but I'm gonna complain the whole way.
Yeah, basically. Obviously, I'm biased, so I usually just put Knuckles in the party because it's Knuckles, and I've got to use the character who's tougher than the rest of them. But he is actually a good party member. He's got a lot of armor piercing moves, which is extremely useful. Ignores enemy armor, which is the SWAT bots have pretty high armor, which is different from defense. It just reduces damage rather than making it harder to hit them. But there are some enemies much later in the game it's extremely important for. But yeah, he's just all around DPS basically.
Yeah, I've never seen a attack in a video game that says it's armor piercing that I didn't like.
Yeah,
Fair.
basically.
Anywho,
I think we moved to chapter 3 at this point, which we didn't mention. We moved to chapter 2 and flashed the title card, but I always remember this one. You've got the shadow of Eggman looming there, and I am just so excited to see my favorite Mad Doctor.
yes, indeed. So we leave to see Angel Island, which I guess was obscured by the gas, or it would have been, but there's nothing there. It's gone. It was taken away.
Oh yeah, I jumped ahead a little bit. Yeah, Angel Island's gone. Oh no!
No.
How shocking. I wonder what these marauders could possibly want. Angel Island. I guess it's the same thing everybody wants with Angel Island.
Yeah.
Well, they said previously that, okay, if you collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds, then I guess you're going to go after the Master Emerald next, which makes sense because it can, like, cancel them, so you want to have a complete monopoly.
Yeah.
Sure.
And speaking of trying to find those things, Tails like, Hey, Eggman probably knows something about this. Let's try and find him.
Makes
Yeah, they just
sense.
died. I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah, assuming he's alive. But
Sure. I mean,
for
you know, he's got Eggman's pretty sturdy.
yeah. What follows from this, unfortunately, is my least
Uh,
favorite part of the night, I would say, for the stuff we've done so far.
yeah.
Because you have to find, what, 5 devices across these areas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we'll talk about that before we get into it at the high level. Um, yeah, I must admit, this doesn't make for a good. I mean, yeah, it's just not a good decision. There are no pointers. It's basically just wander around.
It's stumble around or look up a guide.
Yeah, exactly. When you're playing this game casually, it's like, okay, fine, just go and explore. Like, you probably haven't looked over all of the maps yet. I
Sure.
really like this game has a lot of like we didn't even touch on the overworld traversal of characters, but every party member has like their own little abilities. Like Knuckles can climb on walls,
Right.
characters with wings can fly, Sonic can speed through loops. Um, so you kind of can build your party around that as well. And as you unlock more characters, you get new areas you can go to, and so you can pick up all the rings and all the chow eggs. And I like it when numbers say all number out of number.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, like give some direction. Yeah, it's not really a good
Yeah.
design choice.
yeah. And I did end up doing some side quests here for a couple reasons. Not because I really wanted to do side quests, but like, I went back to Green Hill first and foremost because I remembered where Eggman's base was. I didn't remember that I had to find so much shit to open the laser gates.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
But that meant that I ran into some of the side quests in Green Hill. Uh, Namely the one about machines that make all the animals crazy.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing that one because I thought it was necessary. It is not.
Same.
I don't think so, at least.
Same. Nope, it's not.
No, it is not.
And God, those fucking predator hawks are very dangerous. You have to fight 6 of them total, I believe.
Indeed. Yeah, if it is optional, but like, yeah, true. You might not know it's optional because this whole part of the game is wander around and do stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, yeah, they're dangerous, but like, I mean, I gotta admit, I mean, I think hawks are cool anyway. They're just cool animals. So making
Sure.
giant hawks as enemies, like, there's an intimidation factor too, to
Yeah,
that, and
for
they
me,
they make good on that.
for me, it's just they do a lot of damage and they are very liable to use the evasion move, which just I pisses me off every time I see
Mm,
it used. Especially since the way this game's set up is not that you choose your attacks, they do the attacks, and then that's it. No, you choose multiple sets of actions at a time, and enemies will attack
right.
between those. Which means that if you choose attack and your character attacks multiple times and the enemy chooses to evade between those, you jack shit out of luck. Can't do anything.
Yeah, I touched on that earlier. It is both a blessing and a curse. I think it does make the combat more interesting. But when you have just straight up poorly designed combat choices like this, the evasion moves do nothing. They're just stall.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, they don't add anything interesting to the fight at all. Then it just becomes annoying. I must agree with you there.
The other side quest
Um,
I did. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say though, to the game's credit though, this game is a pretty a kid's first RPG kind of a feel to it,
Sure.
but they definitely do some RPG things. I really appreciate that when you like it's a little thing, but it's a little things that I like. When you deactivate all the signals that are controlling the animals, oh, look, the animal enemies go away and are replaced with robots. Like, you've made an impact on the world. Yay. It's
Yeah, that's fair.
kind of neat.
I do like that. The other side quest that I did here, and I'm hoping that you guys did too, is that you can find Cream the Rabbit here.
Yes.
And
Oh,
she's
yeah.
lost cheese, and you gotta find cheese, and it does piss me off the way that that works, because I went up to the tower where cheese was
Yep.
beforehand, and the fact that he was there, the game doesn't tell you, you can't find him before you start the side quest.
Yep.
So I wish that they had done that, but it's still worth doing, because Cream is an extremely useful party member to have.
Oh yes. Yeah, this game does that with a number of quests where the things don't show up until you start the quest, which I somewhat understand.
I
It makes it easier
guess.
to program, but like from a
Yeah.
game design standpoint, that's annoying. Um, but yes, Cream, so busted. Really, she's only busted for one move, and that's called refresh. I don't know what they were thinking with this move. They were
Hmm.
like, okay, restore power points to the party. Okay, good so far. Make it cost less than it gives you. Excuse
Oh
me?
no.
And it,
So
and it restores her points too.
that's what I was talking about. So it refreshes itself, so you can just spam it every round as long as you either have a Ferox or you're just good. And you never have to worry about PowerPoints again. It is so broken. Yeah, Cream is great.
Well, and she
Damn.
also
Oh.
has being able to revive party members, which I found useful.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, revival and healing, and if enemies are hitting you, you can distract them and lowers their attack. I mean, she has other useful moves, but you're probably going to be using her singular action for refresh most of the time. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. Also, little detail. When I first played this game, and I saw Cream's basic attack is just throwing cheese at the enemy. I was like, that is so hilarious that they decided to do that for an RPG. But now I've played the Sonic Advance games, I'm like, oh, that's actually just how that works.
Yeah.
It's very, very on point.
The only problem is it doesn't do 1 billion damage. It should have both been hugely damaging and supportive, but oh well.
So, the devices we find. Do we want to go through these fast? How do we want to do this?
I have one side quest that you probably didn't do, but I did it because only true Sonic fans remember Norton the Frog.
Oh yeah,
There's a
Big's
side
other
quest.
frog.
Yeah, you
did
could do
part of it. I didn't do all of it though.
I don't blame you. They're all in like really weird remote locations in Green Hill Zone, some of which that you have no reason to return to, unless you're just trying to look everywhere.
So if you do the quest to deactivate all the animals, you will just grab 2 of them.
True. But unless you're willing to just scan the whole area, you probably won't find them all.
I didn't.
I straight up turned down the quest, and it was very funny because Big said, "Oh well, it's his fault for getting lost anyway."
My God.
Of course. Okay, yeah, we can go ahead with the quest. I mean, just go through them one at a time, I think.
Yeah, well, it's just you can do them in any order. So,
Oh yeah.
let's start with the one in Green Hill. Or is there multiple in Green Hill, or is there just the Scorpion Boy?
I think there's.
That's the only one that only
Technically,
takes place in Green Hill.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you go into a cave, and some big fuck off scorpions are trying to murder this child.
I don't know what is going on in this game. Why are there like huge, super dangerous animals?
It's a really good
noticed
But why
question.
in Green Hill? If this was a desert world, then maybe.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
I mean, we did just play Secret Rings. But yeah, this is completely out of nowhere. Again, I kind of like just giant monsters out of nowhere, but it is unpredictable.
Well, and it's especially weird with how many humans there are in Green Hill in this game, which is not consistent with any other Sonic property, period.
True. Yeah.
Um,
Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. In battle though, these scorpions, I don't think they're the worst thing, but they definitely can give you some amount of trouble. There are 2 of them, first of all, which, you know, double boss battles are always a little bit of extra challenge, or maybe even more. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. But they let's see, they have a lot of health. They do a decent amount of damage. They're kind of just, you know, a bit of a work to get through, but they don't have any crazy gimmicks, so they're not the worst thing.
yeah. And it's very strange, right? Because you save the boy, and it's like, yeah, I had a fort set up in here, and I had this thing as my security system because it's got a light on it. But then it's like, oh, they say that do they say the scorpions were trying to get him because of that?
Yeah, that's the explanation. Which,
Okay.
in retrospect, I'm not quite sure what was going on there.
If you tied that into something, you would tie it into the animal angry side quest.
Okay, I have a guess, but okay, do they? I can't remember actually. I get so confused because some of these Eggman robots are not being controlled by Eggman, and some of them
Right.
are, and I don't know which are which. It's not easy to tell. So I'm not quite sure if it's Eggman who is controlling the animals or not.
I don't
That's
know.
a good question.
I think generally most of the robots you see are supposed to be the Marauders repurposing Eggman
That's what I
tech.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, who made the machines with the animals? No idea. So,
that could be Eggman's work, in which case it would make sense that it was going after this device.
yeah, I don't think
That's
they
the
ever
only
say
explanation
that.
I can think of.
Anywho, you also, it's funny because you get the option to take the boy home, and he becomes an item in your inventory if you do.
I didn't even check that.
Which is
Damn.
hilarious. But I just straight up told him, "Good luck, go home, kid."
Oh my god.
So, does it give you a reward if you do that, or am I just like, is me being a dickhead the most efficient way?
Oh no, it does. You are missing out on a reward.
Yeah.
What does it give you?
I don't remember what it. Yeah, I don't remember what it was. To be fair.
It's just a basic healing item with some experience.
Okay.
It's nothing special. It's not a huge, big exclusive thing. But it's something. So being nice is optimal technically.
Good to know.
It is funny though, because yeah, as you said, the little boy becomes an item in your inventory, and you're actually under no obligation to complete the quest. You can just have him chill in your inventory.
Take
and
him
just
all
keep
the
him
way to
around.
Nocturne.
I think he disappears out of your inventory eventually, but I don't remember where. I kept him, and I'll tell you when. I'll keep him in my playthrough.
Oh my god!
Fucking, it's Undertale. It's like I gotta take the snowman piece all the way from the start of the game to the end.
That's interesting.
So that's the one device that's exclusive to Green Hill. The second one I found was in Central City. From a broken SWAT bot that forgot his programming and developed sentience, I guess.
This is a hilarious side quest. I always remember this side quest. This is one time in the game where it makes well sure that you know there is a dialogue choice that matters. Because if you choose the default option, then you'll just back out of the interaction. You have to choose something. But yeah, again, I'm not sure, like, are robots like just sentient in this version of the continuity? It kind of seems like it.
I guess so.
Which is weird to think about. But I guess Sonic doesn't care about murdering animals maybe either. Yeah, this swap bot here is like, I don't remember my purpose. What am I supposed to do? Why am I here? And there are two choices here. You could take the better option, which is to tell it, oh, you fulfilled your purpose. You can shut down and pass away in peace. I mean, it's kind of sad, but at least it gets some rest.
It's very weird, like we're laying him to rest and he dies.
Yeah, but that's better than the other option, which is you can tell it, oh, you're an Eggman robot. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, you're Sonic. And then you immediately fight it. And the terrible part is that this is a basic SWAT enemy. By this point in the game, you're so leveled up that you will probably defeat it within the ambush round. It won't even get a single move. So you just immediately destroy it. And wow, okay, great.
And no matter what option you choose, you tear off his head after this because that's the device.
True.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's weird.
Yeah, wacky quest.
It's interesting.
It's certainly more interesting than the third device that I got, which comes from this old guy shop owner. I don't know what he does. I might note he's fat in his character portrait, but he uses the thin old man model like the first monkey guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But he had his precious red stapler stolen from him by a drug dealer. They don't call him a drug dealer, but he looks like one. And we have to get it back from the shyster. Is this an Office Space reference?
It is.
What an extremely strange thing to put in a Sonic game.
That's a very strange choice.
Somebody made a decision on the dev team, and okay, you made
know
the decision.
What? You know what? Because somehow, with this game, this is our second connection between Ken Penders and Mike Judge because of the King of the Hill shit.
Oh my gosh. But I like this. I like this quest. It is very funny because the way the characters react to this is great. Because there's just this random old man who's like, "Oh, I traded this broken machine for my prized stapler," And then Knuckles, who we haven't been mentioning it, but he's been like super grumpy this whole time. He's been like, we have to get the Chaos Emeralds. No time for talking. No wasting time. Go for Chaos Emeralds immediately. But here he's like, well, this is technically a waste of time, but we can't let that scammer get away with this.
It's cause Knuckles relates. He's the kind of person that would be like, oh, it's a coffee machine? Yeah, sure, you can take the stapler.
Ooh, yeah, I guess you're right.
And then yeah, you just run up to the bottom part of Green Hill, and the guy's just there, and you just sort of intimidate him into giving it to you.
Kind of weird, actually. You can just play this as like super hardcore. You can walk up to this guy who's like, oh, hello, are you interested in my wares? You can just instantly come out with, I know you cheated the shopkeeper. And he's like, no, what are you talking about? And then you just be like, hand it over the stapler or else.
You fucking, like, he's like, hey, what can I get you, son? I know where you live.
It's crazy. Like, if he didn't give it over, so I just could like beat him up.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. I love the description of the stapler when you get it. It just says a stunningly beautiful device when you really look at it.
Very. So, yeah, you get that back to the guy. I like that he says, like, you'll get this thing nice and shiny when I'm done with it. Really polishes it up.
Yeah, he seems like a good-natured fella.
Yeah.
You know.
But the final two devices are mostly in Mystic Ruin. When you run down toward the bottom of Central City, you'll get blasted past by a mysterious black blur.
I love the way that Sonic reacts to this, because Amy is just like, what was that? Sonic just says, shadow.
It's like, it's Shadow.
I know it when I see it.
Exactly.
But yeah, you go to Mystic Ruin, and Shadow is just kind of there. It's really strange, actually, because you confront him, and he's very, very uncooperative because he's Shadow.
Sure.
But it's very strange because they raise the question of why he has this thing. You never get an answer to that.
I actually have an answer. It's slightly spoilery, but I'll bring it up now because it's not a big deal. Shadow is looking for Omega, so he's looking for scraps of Eggman related
I guess
stuff.
so. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I say he's uncooperative, but you don't fight him or anything. He just drops it and leaves. So
Yeah.
That is strictly inaccurate. This little interaction here is great. Once again, I have to point out whenever this game does something interesting with the dialogue, like really interesting with the dialogue choices that has an actual impact on the gameplay. Yes, you can do it that way, and that is the way you should do it. But you can also just antagonize Shadow for no reason. You can just be like, nah, I don't like you. You're up to no good. Nah, let's do it. We're gonna fight right now. And you can fight him. You can
the guy
skip the fight.
The guide I was reading specifically said, be careful with the way you do this, because you'll have to fight Shadow.
That's amazing, because I was trying to be a dickhead and I failed, I guess.
Damn, your
That's
dickhead Sonic run failed.
Well, it was to your benefit for this one time.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's not an easy fight.
I was subconsciously nice to Shadow.
That's fair, honestly.
Yeah. It's not too bad of a fight. He has a harder fight later that you have to do. In this fight, he's nerfed. He doesn't have his infamous Chaos Rift move. He just has Chaos Spears. He does have counterattacks though. So if you miss here, he'll just do damage back to you, which is pretty brutal. But he doesn't have a lot of health, so he goes down pretty quickly.
Okay.
I relate to the way Shadow reacts after this, though. It is great that no matter if you fought him or if you just told him, fine, go away, then he's just like, I don't have time for this, and he just leaves.
So the final device, which I think actually kind of makes sense, is the last one you get, is in a cave guarded by roboticized armadillos. They specifically use the word roboticized.
I didn't notice them use the word roboticize. I'm not sure how. Huh.
Why was this game ever treated as main canon?
Yeah, it would make more sense if this game was always written to be part of Archie.
Not part of Archie, because that has a lot of baggage with it. But
I guess not part of Archie, but to be its own thing, clearly inspired by Archie. That's interesting.
And they still have never really brought roboticization into the main canon. The closest thing they got was Metal Virus.
Sure.
Yeah, but
Yeah, this is very weird.
it's
Um,
it's annoying because it's like you fight some outside the cave, but inside the cave you have to walk through gas together. So I had to fly all the way back to Mystic Ruins to switch to Big.
oh yeah, this
Oh,
game,
yeah, I think I did
like,
that also.
it's kind of neat to have the characters have their own little moves. But you get sort of the Pokemon HM syndrome, where it's like, okay, now I am
Yeah,
forced to put this thing in my party that I didn't want to. Um,
yeah.
it can get a little annoying. Obviously already know what's like optimal, but yeah, it's bad when you don't know what you're doing. So if these are roboticized, did Sonic just like murk a bunch of animals that were innocent?
I
Damn.
don't know because we don't know if beating that because like you can assume that like you just knock them unconscious for a lot of the organic
Sure.
foes, but they
I
definitely
guess.
explode when you hit the Robodillos.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I'm gonna assume that roboticization is easier to reverse in this game's version, and like you break the casing and that just makes it like fall off and breaks the mind control.
Hopefully.
So
Hmm.
yeah. So we have all 5 devices, thank God. We're almost
Yay.
2 hours into this
Yeah.
playthrough, but we're getting close to the end of the night. So we go up to the upper left mountain of Green Hill Zone, where there is a laser gate to an Eggman base. Um, and yeah, they're guarded by the laser gates are guarded by laser drones, and they're like regular drones but with lasers.
Big lasers. If you screw these up, they just instantly knock you out, which is again
Are you
brutal.
talking about the full
Damn.
power attack?
Yeah, yeah. Not the not
Damn.
the not the basic laser shots. Yeah, only the huge laser shots. Um,
Now that one
yeah.
does miss pretty easily, even if you don't get both.
Oh yeah. Like I said, as long as you get like one input or two on an enemy power move, it cripples it in this game. But if it catches you unaware, um, yeah, it's not a big fight, but it can show you that Eggman means business. And if you don't believe it here, you'll believe it in a second.
Oh boy. So, this is the fight that filtered me multiple times as a kid. And that I don't think I think this is the first time I've ever done it myself, which I was still cheating, so it doesn't really count that much. But both times that I tried to play through this whole game as a kid, I ended up getting Lauren to do this for me.
Oof.
The SWATbot Mark II squad. 3 very strong robots with a lot of health, and they all use self-repair. You can only beat them if you kill all of them at once.
Yeah, you just have to start. You just have to chip their health down.
You have to chip their health down, but you don't know, because what if you get a lucky critical on one of them, or,
Yeah.
whatever. If it was as simple as you could reliably reduce them and then use, the Sonic or Knuckles attacks that hits everybody, or Big, I think, has one too.
Mm.
Actually, even Rouge has one. Any of those, then it would make sense, but it's the unreliability that makes it totally a crapshoot as to whether you can do it, and, yeah, I don't like the fight.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with you here. This is this is worthy of a final boss, let alone like what a quarter of the way through the game. This is ridiculous. This is probably the most difficult fight in the game. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, when I was first playing this, it was absolutely brutal. Yeah, well, I mean, I could do it eventually because
Sure.
I liked the game enough to actually power through. Um, but yeah, with 200 health and 50 health on self repair, that's 150 damage you have to do within a round, and you have to do it correctly, or you have to whittle it down, which is unreliable, like you were saying. Um, and they hit decently hard, and eventually they'll use enough basic attacks to knock you out if you're not healing well. So they're not harmless either, although obviously taking them out is much more difficult and going to be the real barrier here. Nowadays, I know there's basically a cheat code in this fight, which is the triple tornado move, which it does a ton of damage to the entire enemy party at once. So if you do bring Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails here and have that move, even at the base level, but especially if you go all in and invest points like crazy into it, which is what I was doing because I was like, no, I'm going to destroy this fight. I'm going to absolutely tear it to shreds. Then you can annihilate it. But not exactly good game design. Being like, oh, you didn't bring the AOE moves, lose basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So I got through it relatively unscathed this time. It still tried to pull some fast ones on me, but I made it okay. In fact, the only time that I
I'm proud of
died
you.
throughout this entire first week was to some of the birds.
Mm.
So and in
I don't
fact,
think I've
even as far
died
as
yet.
I've played up to chapter 6 at this point. I don't think that I've died since then either. I've been extremely unhappy, but I don't think I've died. Um,
Yeah, I would say by and large, this game isn't a very difficult game.
It doesn't seem very difficult. It just seems more obtuse than anything else to me.
Yeah, kind of.
I would use. I'm not sure what I would describe it as. But...
Well, so in a lot of ways, this game kind of reminds me of some of the more obtuse CRPGs from like the 90s, which makes sense. It's developed by BioWare.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it is that they're very much developing still in a state of mind that's not like, your traditional, like old school Final Fantasies or Dragon Quests. It's
No,
very much that's why you miss so much
it's
is because
Western.
it's rolling a
It
dice.
feels, yeah, it feels like Western RPG. Exactly, it's rolling a dice. It definitely feels like
Interesting.
there's a
Yeah.
dice roll. It's interesting.
But so that is our last fight for the night, thankfully. Um,
Yeah.
Lauren, are we stopping? I guess assuming after the next point you can save.
Yeah, we might as well cover up until the save because
Yeah.
we had to go that far.
So, here's Eggman. He's here, and he's mad about the Marauders reusing his old robots because he is totally reformed. I definitely believe you.
Have we seen Eggman make this claim yet as we've played other games so far?
I think this is the first time.
Okay, because I know he does this plenty.
I'm pretty darn sure that it's completely facetious. Like he's just like, you have no choice but to work with me is basically the way he presents it. I mean, also I'm so happy to see my boy here. His line, he has a lot of great lines here. I like when Amy's like, no, you can't trust him, Sonic. Eggman's just like, yeah, I wouldn't trust me either. Like, no, he's not serious about it.
I love that when he talks about his prior actions and why he done this. Like, I was young and full of beans.
What does that mean? Oh, it's a Mean Bean reference.
No, I don't think it is. Because here's the thing: I think that might actually be a like a saying that's just not very common. Because I was watching a Simpsons episode, and at one point, they, fucking Milhouse's parents.
Holy shit! It is.
Luann says, Milhouse is up and full of beans because he's like beating the shit out of Bart because it's the one where he broke Milhouse up with his girlfriend.
Yeah, it means lively or in high spirits. That's fascinating.
That's a good episode too. Anyway, but
I know it's not a Mean Bean reference, but it's just funny to think of it as that.
It's okay. We'll get Mean Bean references, especially come by the movies. But
true. Let's see. So yeah, he just says that, but he's actually just like, no, the Marauders are too dangerous. Because Eggman explains, oh, you see, the reason Angel Island has moved is because they're using the Chaos Emeralds to tow the Master Emerald around like a magnet. Because you can do that, I guess.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that really works that way, but sure, whatever. Actually, the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald being attracted to each other is a fact of the universe, because that's how the fucking ancients got here, but,
oh, okay,
it should go the other way around. It would be the Master Emerald brings the Chaos Emeralds, but, anyway. Yeah, he tracked where they took Angel Island, and he also notes that the Marauders are, for some reason, associated with the numeral 9.
The Roman numeral. Rome exists in this universe.
That's true.
Apparently. And also, why are we establishing this when, like, a few hours later we're gonna see that that's not even what it is?
Yeah, it's such a random sort of, like, bit of intrigue that doesn't mean anything. I don't know, they're just trying to make it mysterious, I guess.
I suppose.
There are a lot of interesting ways you can take this conversation, depending on which choices you pick. You can ask about, like, are the Chaos Emeralds really that dangerous? And Eggman is like, oh, you wouldn't imagine the carnage I would cause if I had all of them. Awesome. I mean, no. Yeah, I'll help you get them. Like, yeah, it's so obvious what he's up to. Yeah, it's great. Eventually, when they're like, well, maybe Eggman could just be working with the Marauders. Knuckles is like, nah, the Marauders are way too competent to be working with Eggman.
Get fucked. That's awesome.
So yeah, I guess that's about it.
So we are going to have to get to Angel Island, but we're going to have to set out for Eggman's old city base in Metropolis to do that, which has some other stuff in the way. But that is going to be next time, because that is the end of the first leg of our playthrough, part 1 of 4. Are we doing 4 parts?
Yeah, 4 parts.
Yeah, 4 parts.
All right. And so, what to make of this? When I'm cheating, I don't have as bad a time as I used to as a kid.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm wondering, where does my dislike of turn-based RPGs end and my dislike of this game as one begin?
That's an interesting question.
I think if I hadn't done the birds, I honestly I wouldn't have had that much gripes with at least this first leg. Now, I have basically done the second leg of our playthrough already, because as I mentioned, I've played up to chapter 6. I don't know if that's exactly how much time or whatever, but during that, I definitely became fucking miserable, but that hasn't happened yet, so...
Yeah, we typically try not to cast judgment until we've gone through the whole of a game. But yeah, just so far, I mean, yeah, it's doesn't quite have the depth of a well-made RPG. It's got some interesting little quirks here and there, that I think you can get some fun out of it. Like I said, if you challenge yourself, I've done challenge runs of this game. It's a lot more interesting than a first playthrough that has a lot of easy exploits and also terrible things that'll slap you in the face for no reason. But overall, though, I think it's just kind of a fun time. I like the character interactions. I think the writing is great.
Yeah, I do appreciate the writing, and I
can appreciate the writing.
I appreciate the art direction for the environments, because I do think that they're well drawn and interesting to look at, if they're not friggin' blown up to such big pixels. I don't know. It makes me question where the line lies for me, you know? Because one of my favorite games of all time is the original Xenoblade, and that game is not turn-based.
No, it's real time.
But it's almost like a turn-based game, because you still pick your attacks from a menu. It's just that the game pushes you forward and they have cooldowns, which is not really that demonstrably different from taking turns. You know, it means, and it puts time pressure on you because you've got auto attacks between you and the enemies. So I don't know where the line lies that I adore that game, but I can't work with turn-based combat in other instances. You know, it may all just be smoke and mirrors, in that I'm able to fool myself a little bit better with certain games.
Maybe.
Well, I'm very curious. Hopefully it will come to completion at some point. But the remake that's been worked on for this game for many years at this point, I think it's going to be pretty faithful in its translation of the story, and mostly going to be improving the gameplay. I'm very interested to see how that could turn out.
I am very much following that project. I'm in their Discord server. We actually talked about having, I don't know if it was Justin or Granivolis who we talked about potentially guesting for this playthrough. I ended up getting cold feet on that just because I didn't want to have to work out schedules, and this is much more, you know, a thing between me and my personal friends, and stranger danger. I don't think that they're dangerous. I'm just saying that, you know, it's all
I get what you mean.
Causes of anxiety. But I definitely recommend monitoring the project. You know, maybe you guys are watching this video years in the future, but not many, hopefully. And it's done, and I can just tell you play that instead of the DS version. Because I'm sure that if that got finished and did all that stuff, that, you know, it would be something to just recommend.
That would be the way to play it.
You know, Sonic and the Secret Rings remake, you know, if that's, it turned out that they ended up delaying that demo by a little bit, so hopefully hopefully this video is still after the point that it's out, but play that instead of original Secret Rings too. I don't know. That was part of my intent with this show, was to recommend the best ways to play certain Sonic games. So I feel like I gotta, you know, give these their due credit. But next time on Deep Dive Zone, we will continue through more of Sonic Chronicles. I don't know exactly how much, because Lauren is the one setting the breakpoints, so it's gonna be cool.
Up into the logical halfway point of the game when you go to the Twilight Cage.
All right.
All right, good to know. That's a lot to do. Anyway, but for right now, all that being said, that is where we are going to be done for tonight. So if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, criticisms, suggestions, or feedback, you can reach us at any of the links in the link tree in the description. I hope you all have a great rest of your night. We will see you next week for another exciting episode. I hope you have a great rest of your week, a great rest of your night, and take care.